I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the share, where Miss Dream always has a story.
It's Dream, and we got a season 2. Your Black Bostonian here, a product of a single mother who I work to make proud every single day. I'm a 3-degree holder, your veteran educator, your tech entrepreneur, and founder of the Chair platform. My platform is dedicated to supporting Black and Brown people on their hair journey by creating hair boards, connecting to hairstylists, and sharing haircare tips for a more joyous experience. My podcast is about sharing hair stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and stories surrounding identity with goals to leave you laughing, learning, and advocating. So come in and listen to the stories in the chair.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hi, good evening, everybody. How's it going?
Hello.
That was okay. It really was. Y'all were like concerned. But good evening, everybody. That is a little bit better. So my name is Portia Olayiwola. Super excited to be here with y'all, hosting House of Calypso as well as Dream in the Chair podcast. Before we get started, I am just going to go ahead and do a land acknowledgement and just remind folks that Just Bookish is on the traditional indigenous territory and unceded land of the Massachusetts Nation, who continue to this day through their descendants. We know this land was never given up legally, but by violence. We also acknowledge and connect this country's entire modern existence to the enslavement of African Americans, which occurred alongside the genocide of indigenous people. We make a promise to continue justly in partnership with the community and with this earth and with this land. We thank them all for allowing us to be here in this place, and we will continue to honor them. We can also make some noise for that, right? Because we did say their descendants are alive and well with us. And it is Pride Month, and we are definitely a people of resistance and rioting. Again, my name is Portia. Super excited to be here as one of the co-founders of this space alongside Bing. Also want to make some noise for our bookseller in the back. Give it up for Micah. And then our bookstore manager and the curator of all the books that you see on the floor, Frenchie. And so I say all of that to say if you need anything while you're in the space, please reach out to one of us. We are here and able to serve. Right here in between these two bookshelves is our bathroom, which is definitely worth the visit. Okay? If you haven't been in there, it's a banned book bathroom. We encourage you to take a selfie there. And then I think that's it. I am about to get out of y'all's way so that we can get into this podcast. I want to first share the bio of your host. Self-written bio that reads, I am an educator, full writer, systems thinker, practitioner, entrepreneur, and Black.
Yes.
I, Dream, have 3 degrees. I earned my degrees from Lake Forest College, UCLA, and Babson College.
Yes.
Born in Boston to my single mother and a neighborhood who loved me. Shout out for Mom in the back, as well as that neighborhood. Raised in a home where music was played loudly, books read daily, and dreams encouraged to pursue. I have worked with youth since I was 16 years old and have taught formally for almost a decade. I decided to attend business school to study racism from the views of structures, carrying with me the essence of my students as I explored business frameworks that intentionally and unconsciously excluded me. My passion for storytelling with an educational perspective is meant to be interdisciplinary and colorful. I'm a lover of justice, an advocate of joy, and a reminder of reality. Y'all make some noise for Dream.
I want to say thank you for being here. This means the world to me. This is a roundtable, it's not a panel. We really want you to be involved. So if you want to clap or snap, like all of that is welcomed here. Okay? What I'm going to do first is I'm going to read everybody's bio. One of our participants couldn't be here today, but I still want to read their bio because they're just as important as everybody who's in the room today, because everybody deserves their flowers. And then after we do that, we're going to go straight into our conversation. So the mother of the house, Neon Calypso.
Thank you.
She, her pronouns. Neon Calypso, the mother of the house, is an internationally known trans drag artist who explores the intersectionality of what it means to be queer, black, femme, and disabled, with performances reflecting on life experiences through song, dance, and spoken word. She's a core cast member of Sasha Velour's Nightgowns and filmed a docuseries that you can stream for free on all Roku devices. She was crowned Mix Bushwick 2020 and 2021 at the 2021 Bushwick Festival and competed as one of 8 drag entertainers in 2022 Drag Queen of the Year pageants.
Yes, mother.
We have Hazel Afrodite.
Yes.
She, they pronouns. Hazel Afrodite is a multi-instrumentalist, singer, songwriter, dancer, producer, and drag queen that makes alternative R&B music. Her drag is the embodiment of the late 60s, early 70s black glamour with a modern edge. Her performance style is very high energy with lots of camp, fashion, and beauty. She is a versatile performer who can bring you to tears with her acting prowess and make you laugh till you cry with one-liners. Hazel has done tour work with the Eagles, opened a gala where Shaka Khan was the headliner, and made history as one of the first drag artists to perform at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum alongside their drag family, the House of Calypso. Lavender, she, they pronouns. Lavender is their name, and she is the Purple Princess of Boston. Her drag is very inspired by black women in their fashion. They are more of a comedic style performer, but will always make sure to highlight the beauty that her black skin has. Izzy Ready, she, her pronouns. Izzy Ready is a trans woman of color from Boston who's been performing for 2.5 years. She loves to spread joy, laughter, and kindness any way she can. Her performances often blend burlesque, comedy, and dance to create an unforgettable experience. You can follow her on Instagram at IzzyReady_ to keep up with her and her performances. Killah Croc, who couldn't be here with us today, they, them pronouns. Killah Croc is a Boston-based drag artist who has made a name for themselves in the Boston drag scene since February 2023. Recently, Killah won the historic All-Star Mondays competition and has also made history as one of the first drag artists to perform at the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum with their drag family, the House of Calypso. Their command of the song and stage will leave you full, but also wanting more. Killah uses their platform to uplift their fellow Black and brown trans artists of color. Please welcome the House of Calypso.
Thank you.
So I wanted to start this roundtable off by asking, why did you build a house? What was important to you about building a house?
Yes. So I'll start out by introducing myself and my pronouns. I'm Neon Calypso, the mother of the house. I'll take the microphone as well. She, her, they pronouns. I've been doing drag in Boston, celebrating 10 years this summer. So make some noise for 10 years. Yes. And when I started drag, it was to highlight the issues that women of color, and specifically queer and trans women of color, the issues they go through on a day-to-day basis, and highlight those in spaces that often don't recognize them. A lot of my early recognizable performances actually featured poetry by Portia, so make some noise. And I remember doing a performance with Portia at the Dorchester Art House, I believe it was, and her voice just grabbed me, and I was like, that's something I need to share. I've been trying to do so. With that, I found my own journey as a trans woman in the middle of the woods during the pandemic, out on a mountain, just shouting my truth. I moved back to Boston with a mission to solidify more spaces for trans and non-binary drag entertainers. And that was by starting my house in Boston in 2023. As of now, I have 4 new drag children. Hazel Afrodite, Izzy Ready, Lavender, Killah Croc, who's right here. Make some noise for Killah. Killah Croc actually just made history last night, being the first POC entertainer to win 6 challenges in a row. So that means they won almost every single challenge besides 2 over the past 18 weeks. And they were crowned the winner of the Boston Drag Gala last night. So make some noise for Killah. That is about. So as a house, we collectively just try to amplify the journey and experiences of trans and non-binary entertainers of color in Boston. One of the first major things that we did as a house was the first drag performance at the Isabel Stewart Gardner Museum, making history. So I like to say that we are a history-making house, just getting started.
How did you find each other?
Wow, you want to start?
Yeah.
Hello, hi, I'm Hazel. We found each other because Neon was running Surf Thursdays, mostly. I feel like we all, at least that's how I met Izzy. That's how I feel like I met Lavender mostly. Every Thursday at Legacy, it was like an open stage drag show there, and so we just signed up online, and then I just showed up. And I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know any of these people, but like Neon made me feel like safe and comfortable and like really encouraged me. And it was just like a place that I like felt like I had been searching for a place after graduating from Berkeley. I like couldn't find a place to really like showcase art in Boston, or queer art specifically. And so it was just a blessing to be welcomed into a space and then welcomed for my art that I been waiting for years for people to be like, oh wait, this is cool. And then like,
I would also like to add to that Hazel graduated from Berkeley and is producing her very own album. So make some noise for Hazel. As a drag mother, that was something that is a mission and a goal of mine. I love music, I write music, and I saw Hazel perform and I was like, her voice is beautiful. She writes and plays all of her instruments. I was like, that's a child that has to be in my house. And so Hazel was my first adopted.
I'm Izzy Ready, hello. I met Hazel first, actually. So Neon and I are from the same town originally, so I had always known of Neon, heard of the icon that she is and was and will forever be. But Hazel and I met at an open stage show at Legacy and then again at Jacques Cabaret, and immediately it was a key. I was like, oh, this is a sister for life. And she had known like my journey in drag prior to that. Like the drag family I was in, it was like sort of a toxic situation, and Hazel was my biggest cheerleader. Like every time she's like, I told Neon you should be in the house. I told Neon he should be in the house. And I was like, I'm not like just being tugged around in all these places. Like, what the hell's going on? But then it got to a point where we were all outside of Jacques one night. I got to know Neon a little better. We had talked and gotten on like a deeper personal level. And she goes, wait, so who is your drag mom? And I told her, and right away she goes, hi, daughter. And I'm like, okay, period. So yeah, right away I was in like a lot more loving and accepting of a place who loved me for me, who took me for me, didn't try to change any aspect of me or my performances, and it's just been beautiful ever since.
So I first met Izzy when I was first going out and doing drag. Izzy, she came up to me, she introduced herself to me, she was like, you look so pretty. And from that moment forward, we kind of became forever sisters. And it was after that that I got to meet Hazel and then Killah and then also Neon as well. And so it just sort of became like a natural progression for me, at least in my joining of the house. It was like I got closer to each of you individually, and then I was invited to become a part of the house, and that was really special for me, as well as my own personal journey that I've been going on and being able to see where you guys are at and sort of have like role models to look up to and what you're doing, and it's just really special. The House of Calypso is really something special to me. We have our monthly show, and that's genuinely something I look forward to every single month, and it's just so special that I have you guys.
Don't make me cry. Tell me. And then Killah Croc, who's not here, I'll talk a little bit about our relationship. Killah Croc and I actually have roots working with the Theater Offensive back in the day before I started drag. I was a youth in programming and they were working in the office. We didn't have sort of like a friendship relationship throughout the years, but once they started performing in the scene, it was like nothing had ever changed, and I was like, you are creating space. They are actually a mother themselves. They are the parental figure of the delusional house of meh. So make some house for the house of meh, make some noise. So I'm kind of like a drag grandmother, although I do not look like one, so thank you, Black. Don't cry. But I grew up in Boston in the foster care system, and throughout a lot of the moving in my life, you realize that home is not necessarily a place, it's the spaces that you create and make. And so in Boston, I find often that there aren't enough spaces for drag entertainers of color, specifically trans drag entertainers of color. And I will always give my opportunities to my children. So that is why I want to expand this house and make it as big as I can.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hair boards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hair boards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the Chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the Chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair.
All right.
When you're in drag and you're performing, what does freedom feel like for you?
When I'm on stage, it normally feels like a blackout and forgetting what I did. Like, the music just sort of takes over. It feels like being able to, there's just something so powerful about being able to be yourself and be in your skin and being confident in that, while also being celebrated by a room of mostly strangers, some peers, for doing so. Like, it's such a unique feeling that I feel like freedom can't quite capture it, if that makes sense.
For me, personally, being in drag is very freeing, but also powerful in a sense. I feel like I can do anything when I'm in drag. It's like, in a sense, a shield and an armor, but it's also something that's empowering me to do things that I wouldn't normally do. Not necessarily in a negative way, but in the sense of confidence. It gives me a large boost of confidence. It allows me to sort of capture a room in ways that I would never be able to without the drag.
I guess for me, drag, I was always interested in drag. I randomly saw drag on late night on Logo TV, Drag Race when it was back on that. I sneaked it on my TV, and I had always been interested, so the second I got a chance, I immediately got into drag, and I felt like I found another part of myself that I had always been missing, and it helped me even find more about my gender. I'm a trans woman of color, a black trans woman, and I feel like I was never confident in who I was before. I had a problem in expressing a lot of things, and I feel like I have just completely changed as a person because of drag. It's just unlocked so many different areas that I never thought I would be able to do. I never thought I would be singing. I was like a clarinetist. I was hiding in the band in the back, but through drag, I got confident, and I was like, you know what? Why can't I be in the front? Why can't I be the leading star? And here we are.
Exactly. Recording a debut album at that. Freedom to me feels and looks like happiness. And that's something that I feel like has many different emotional attachments to it. You can have sad happiness, you can have happy happiness, you can have angry happiness. One of the best moments that I can remember in my career was performing in Paris. It was always a dream of mine. Ever since doing research and finding out who Josephine Baker was, I was like, I want to be black and perform in Paris. There was a show that I did, and there was a young black girl who was center stage, and I performed my capitalism number, which features Portia O's poem in it, and the girl was doing me word for word back to me, and I was like, this is why I do what I do. And it's not for me, but it's this sort of recognition in what people deserve to see and what they should see. I got off the stage and I had a conversation with her dad, and he was like, I don't get what you do. I didn't come here for you, but I brought my daughter, and this is something that she really wanted to see. So just knowing that people can connect and feel joy and happiness through my performances and my material, to me, that's freedom right there.
Do you have a favorite number?
I have a few that have certainly run into the ground. I have been doing a Doja Cat number for 2 years, since the 2.5 years I started. But it's just one of those things where it's the second you get all the beats down and you know where to hit what, and you have the musicality of the song down and the emotion of it, it's kind of hard to let it go.
Yeah, I'll agree to that. I have had one of my most requested numbers is a Missy Elliott performance that uses the Missy Elliott poem by Ashley Hayes.
I've seen that.
Yes. Make some noise for Missy Elliott, y'all. Make some noise. I have been doing that performance. I remember the first time doing it, and I felt very nervous just because I had not done spoken word, and that was the first spoken word performance I had done. And I was like, I want to do this because I connected with Missy Elliott watching her grow up, and I think she's one of the best, if not the best, in her lane. And doing that performance, so many people recognize the importance of that. And every time I try to go to a space that's new, I think that's a performance that everyone can connect to, you know? If you don't know who Missy Elliott is, you're gonna go home by the end of that number being like, who is Missy Elliott? And if you don't know who Missy Elliott is, I'm like, excuse me. I'm like, where you been? But I do have a couple of performances that there are words and moments in there where there is language that's geared towards POC and Black entertainers and audience members. And there are times where there isn't a person of color in the crowd, and I'm like, I'm gonna stare at the wall, because I can't direct this to people. One of those lines is in my Dreamgirls number where it says, we share the same skin, we share the same eyes. And so I try to make sure I really connect with people sometimes on those performances with being like, I'm looking in your eyes and saying, we do connect. So yeah, those are some of the most important numbers for me.
For me and my performances, I definitely have a little bit of a different take in what I try to perform. I'm definitely more of a pop performance type of person myself. My favorite numbers are a little less melanated. I'm a huge fan of artists like Ariana Grande. I love doing an Ariana Grande number. I love twirling to that type of music. But I also like to represent in what I'm wearing. I like to rock my braids whenever I can. I like to make sure that I'm showing as much of my beautiful Black melanated skin as I can.
Yes.
I love a nice nude illusion moment with some stones on it. So for me, it's less about the song that I'm doing and how I'm doing the song. Sort of how I can show my Blackness or my transness through this number. Yes, through the lens of Ariana Grande as Lavender.
Well, technically, she kind of Black. Like a little bit.
All right, not too much. 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 Now you're gonna go there.
You knew it was coming. I don't know why you. For me, my favorite. I think mine is probably my favorite. The Isabella Stewart Gardner one, just because I got to do one of my favorite songs that I've written ever, and then I got to combine it with Why a Caged Bird Sings, which is one of my favorite poems. And then I also got to infuse some sound design things, and it just challenged me in a way that I never really challenged before, and I don't know. I was listening to it the other day, just got chills. I don't do it often because it's a big number. It's like 9 minutes, but. Yeah, no, I just love that one.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show. I'm an educator. I've taught everything from kindergarten all the way through high school and college. But the majority of my time is spent between like 3rd grade and 8th grade. And especially in middle school, there's always the conversation about identity, self-esteem, self-love, and I'm always working to be a better educator. And I'm curious to know, thinking back, is there something that you wish that the teachers that you had did for you in support of just your development?
You look ready.
So this is definitely something that I'm very passionate about, because being an educator is something that I definitely aspire to work towards. The reason for that is because I've always wanted to be the representation that I never had. Being somebody who was openly queer and even Black in the school districts that I was growing up in was not something that I was seeing. And just physically seeing that body in the building is so important when you are younger. It's the normalization of things that shouldn't have to be normalized is just so important for kids. So many of these school districts are so very white, not only in just the student body, but also the staff as well. And so for educators, I just really hope that we can live in a world where the schools are just so much more diverse, where kids aren't just being taught by the same white teachers year after year after year after year. Even in schools that do have the METCO program, there still is the issue of a lack of black educators in that building because there's just so few black people in that building that it's hard to see that in others. And when you're struggling to see that in others as a kid, you kind of start to think, is there something wrong with me? Am I not normal? Am I different? And you're not different. You're just not surrounded by people who are like you.
I think I'm going to second that because I think representation is such a huge thing that really, 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 really matters. I can remember my teachers that I thought were queer at the time when they weren't allowed to be out. Most of those teachers were my art teachers, and that was the only place I flourished in school. I would hope and imagine that in the future with educators, that it's easier on them. I felt that we put a lot of responsibility on our educators, and I'm greatly appreciative of the educators I've had in my life for being able to help me educate myself from what it was I needed. A lot of those times, especially in high school, the educators I had were there to be like, you are able to speak up for yourself, and we will stand behind you. And so, yeah, I just think that, one, that representation, but also having someone to push you forward as an educator is a great thing, just because everybody has a different type of a learning capacity.
I had fairly good educators growing up. I would just say, again, piggybacking off of what they said, it was a lack of diversity, and it would have definitely been nicer to see examples in adults flourishing. So that way, as a child, I knew that I too could flourish in an environment that wasn't necessarily built for somebody like me to succeed.
I'm wondering, what if the representation isn't there? Is there something that you would want educators to think about if they don't have someone who looks like them? I think about, I was teaching at a predominantly Latinx school, and I always think about this kid all the time. I had a kid, an 8th grader, quiet kid, calm kid, and one day he came to school and he was more subdued than normal. And I would check in and things like that, but something was off. And 2 girls came to me and said, hey, he came out to his parents this weekend. It did not go well at all. And they're like, we just want to tell you. They didn't really do anything else. They just told me the information. But you could tell this kid didn't want to talk about it. So I was like, okay, cool. We're not going to talk about it. But what I'm going to do from here on out is there's going to be so much queer representation in this classroom. And so it was just, I would talk about it casually. You know, I had a flag here and there. I'm just doing this thing, right? Like, this kid isn't talking to me. I don't have the same background as this kid racially, anything. And so I didn't know if it worked. 5 years later, I get a message from him on Instagram. He started school at Stanford and said, hey, don't know if you remember me, but I just want to let you know that the things that you did was just helpful in me speaking up for myself and seeing myself. Okay. And I think about that a lot, but being like, I was able to help him even though I could not necessarily be in his shoes. And so I wonder, is there something that you think should happen if a kid doesn't have that representation, the direct representation?
I think doing exactly what you did is honestly the perfect way to go about it. Like, you don't want to directly address the situation, especially if they're not out at school, because you don't want to make them feel targeted or make them feel like, oh, people know something that I didn't want them to. But, like, second-handly sort of because he didn't have that at home, unfortunately, and it is really sad. But you built him that environment for him to flourish, and showed him through teaching those things and the reactions of the other students that he did have a place he could feel safe just being himself. And even though it couldn't be at home where he should be able to, he probably after that looked forward to going into that classroom every day as a space where he knew he could be himself and not get reprimanded for it.
Yeah. And just piggybacking off of that, I will say that having that teacher that wanted to take an interest in what was in my personal life made me want to connect with them more. And so I think by asking, how can I help you through this, is a great thing, because I remember when I was in school, I didn't have educators that asked. They saw and they witnessed, but they had no interest in how they can help me. And that's a big, big thing, is having someone that wants to help you. So thank you for the work that you did. Thank you.
No, truly. I feel like in band, I had a band director in high school who was very homophobic, and I feel like had I had someone like you, I feel like life would have been so much easier, because I felt like I had finally found like another place where I could be happy, and then it was like, oh, he doesn't like this part of me. Like, he doesn't like that I'm sassy, so I'm not gonna get the solos, I'm not gonna get like anything that I definitely deserve unless it's benefiting him. So I think just having like someone who's accepting and showing more love and just open would have really helped.
I'll add to that, like, as a drag mother, I try to be as helpful to my children to uplift their purpose and message. So I'm often like, how can I be of help? What is it that you need? What resources of mine can I offer to you in a way to make your ideas flourish more? I've gotten to that time in my career, 10 years into it, where my purpose in drag has become bigger than me. And that mission is something that so many more people can connect with. So there was a time where I thought I was the only one trying to uplift the voices of POC entertainers, and now it is my entire family's mission to continue to uplift those voices. And so that does feel nice, knowing that a legacy is going to be left in Boston once I'm not here. I'd hope that in 20 years from now, there's a little House of Calypso talking about, oh my God, y'all don't know Mia?
Yeah, because I feel now there's, at least in the spaces that I'm in education, that there are conversations. If we're not talking about identity directly, it's talking about social-emotional ways of connecting with kids. It's talking about choice, and what does that look like? So I spend a lot of time thinking about how can kids see themselves in the material? Like, how can they see, if they can't see themselves, can they see a part of themselves in the material? One of my favorite books, it's the reason I got fired from my first teaching job. I was teaching Melissa, 4th grade level reading book to 6th graders, trans character, but it specifically talked about they wanted to be the lead in Charlotte's Web. And my kids had read Charlotte's Web, so they already connected. And then it was about bullying, and our 6th graders were big bullies. So we needed to address it. So I was like, okay, we're going to read this book. And from the very start, the pronouns changed. So my kids are like, oh, okay. And at that time in the neighborhood, there was trans representation in the neighborhood, but the teachers would just snicker. So the kids were very aware that, like, hey, people exist. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. We're going to talk about bullying. We're going to talk about, like, what does it mean to feel in yourself, like feel your emotions. And we're going to do it as a group. So it was always like our calm reading activity. And so we would have these conversations, and it was really amazing because the kids, they were wanting to know, like, oh man, what's going to happen to Melissa? Bullying's not great. It was never about the transness. They were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, this is who she is, and we just want to make sure that she gets the part in the play. And so I saw 6th graders, like, really care about the character. And even though they were Melissa, they knew how Melissa felt, and they didn't want to feel that either. And so when bullying was happening, so in my class, bullying drastically like decreased, and I was like, this is the point, like it works. But we also showed that representation in the fact that Melissa didn't look like me, didn't look like the kids. There was this whole connection. So I'm always wondering how to think about material to support kids and how they see themselves, even if they don't ever talk about it. They're like, we know that this is a reality for certain kids.
I think that's a great example. Something I could think of as a child, and I feel like people can connect with. The book I read in school as a child was Huckleberry Finn. And that's all I'm going to say to that. But that's one of those moments about representation where our teachers were like, you don't have to say the N-word, but it's in the book. And there would be that pause that I would feel as that only black child in the classroom, where everyone would look at me, and then they knew I would feel how they were. I would feel something because they all looked at me. And so I appreciate that having a book that shows a story and not the person and not being the reason is a great example. I wish I had books like that in school.
Yeah, I went to a predominantly white high school, and we were reading a similar book, and I'm half black, and even then I was considered by everybody else one of the only 5 black people at the school. Like, they didn't care about anything. They were just like, oh no, like, we're labeling you, you're fully black, like, to us. And I was like, okay, like, call me what you want. But I had a similar experience where a white teacher just read the word out loud, and then everyone's face cracked right to me, and I was like, I'm 14. Like, what do you want me to do here? Like, yeah, definitely made a bathroom trip very quickly after that. I just feel like, yeah, like showing them examples of them, especially by somebody who might relate to them a little more closely or relate to the character more closely in the story is great.
I also feel that a question we as POC entertainers often get asked is this material okay?
Yeah.
One of those examples is when Beyonce released Formation. I was one of the go-go girls of the club, and of course the queen I was hosting was a white queen. And she sent me a message and said, hey sis, you think it's okay if I do Formation? And I was like, if you agree with Negro nostrils, then yes. And she proceeded to perform it. And yes, she had like the entire Beyonce getup and the outfit. But there had to be a conversation of like, what's paying homage and what's not your material to perform as an entertainer. And I often say that music is for everybody. There are entertainers who will go out of their way, who will reverse the music, edit the word out, put a crash bang boom over it, and you're like, it's a whole different song. And then there's some people who like to teeter on that edge of being like, I'm accepting it. And I think that's where that word toleration comes in. I'm tolerating it, but I'm still gonna do what I wanna do.
Right.
And I know that, I said this the other day because someone made a comment about us as a POC family doing a Juneteenth show at a white establishment. I said often when we step into spaces that are geared towards us, it's so much more welcoming than walking into that space and feeling immediately like the outcast. And so yeah, I can't educate children right now because I'm not an educator, but I'm an educator for the performers. And I will try to make sure that they have an understanding of like how sometimes that could work in your favor or not. I had a huge controversial moment in my career in the beginning where I had a white manager tell me that I couldn't perform music with the N-word. The night was geared towards POC customers. The music was POC music. And I felt such a way of being like, I know the community that hears that connects with it in a certain way. And there are certain numbers where it feels like it's needed. But I took it at that moment to be like, this is a moment that's bigger than me and I will call it out above this. Sometimes calling things out in a way of creating positive change looks negative when everybody else doesn't get it. And I appreciate that my children and my family share that reflection with me of being and understanding the message I'm coming from.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up now. I wanted to say thank you. Thank you all for sharing your stories and your share. Thank you so much.
It can be If it's okay, I want to end on a little bit of note, something that I do at our drag family show. So every third Monday over at Just Bookish. This upcoming Monday, you can catch the House of Calypso. We do a POC-driven and based show every third Monday, and this Monday we are doing a Pride edition. But one thing that I do at the end of all my shows is I sing a little bit of a song. You know what I'm about to go into? Okay. And so this is a little bit of a farewell until the next time that we meet. Okay. Hazel, you know? Right. So it goes like this. So long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now. Until we meet again, I said so long, farewell to you, my friends. Goodbye for now, until we meet again. It's so much for the House of Calypso.
I leave the vocalizing to them because I like the audience to stay in the building.
Well, before you leave, we want to make sure that you hand your flowers. So all of you are getting flowers in a card. If you could take the flowers to Killah Croc.
Yes, we will.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dream always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I'm going to share with you a dream of mine. I would love to be on Sesame Street. Sesame Street held my hand through childhood. In my dream, I would be in my big afro or rainbow braids sitting on the stoop sharing hair stories. I would like your help, please, by doing all the things. Like, leave a review, share it with someone who would benefit from hearing this episode. And if you know someone who knows someone who knows someone at Sesame Street, share your favorite episode with them, and I'll make you some of my famous chocolatey hot chocolate. I hope you have a beautiful day, or if you are like me, still up in the middle of the night, I hope you take a deep breath and rest. Love you. Talk to you later.
Hello. Please leave a message after the tone.
Dream, hello. I just wanted to tell you you're wonderful. I just got through going through your podcast. Love you, love you, love you, love you. Keep it up. Maybe I need to send it to Oprah and Tyler Perry. Love you, baby. You are great.
Where we share